And now we got Zittel beat up my granddaddy. Main event. Go ahead, Zittel. Go ahead, man. Whoever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we even want him to go?
Hey, because he about to cook somebody. Yes, go.
I feel like my take aged well. I said last week on the show, I took the big picture thing. Forget boxing for a minute. This is a indictment on pop culture in the United States and really at the world at large. And an indictment. It's what we saw in the main event was a elimination of merit. Meaning, like, it doesn't matter. This sent an awful message, in my opinion. It's not about anymore because Mike Tyson at 58 is stripped away of the merits of being the great heavyweight he once was. Jake Paul at 10-1, like Amanda said, works hard. He's got a good right hand, could fight a little bit, but he's not selling in 65 million homes because of his merit as a fighter either. And a lot of people called this event a shit show, right? Well, go ahead, huh?
No, go.
Oh, okay.
It was Hafey.
Well, right. Well, a lot of people said, what was that bullshit in the main event? Well, let me get scientific about what is shit. Shit is after all the nutrients have passed through the system and acid has absorbed all the good things out of it, all you're left with is shit. And so once you strip away all the real credibility of Mike Tyson fighting at 58 years old, and once you again, eliminate that merit. Jake Paul hasn't done anything in the boxing world to merit this kind of audience. All that's left is what I talked about a week ago: false idol worship, the worship of celebrity. And I would advise the fans watching my take on this, watch the episode South Park did. You know, South Park, as funny as it is a brilliant show too. They had an episode about Logan Paul and how they instead of calling it Prime, they called it Cred, the drink he sells. And all the little youngins want to be like this influencer. They all want the cred. And really what the cred is the clout. And that's all that's left in this fight was Mike Tyson's clout against Jake Paul's clout. And, you know, we ate it, the world, the country ate it up hook, line, and sinker. This is my job, whether it's Rene Tellez Guidon fighting Kid Austin or Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, freedom of the press. So don't come at me and go, well, you're a part of the same hypocrisy, Sean. You covered it. You did all it. No, it's called freedom of the press. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do my job and put it all in perspective. That was some bullshit. And it's an indictment on our taste because whether you were black, white, Republican, Democrat, brown, everybody bought in on it. And that's the real, so what? That's the real point of what Tyson versus Jake Paul is. And we had Amanda on just now. I'm not about to ask Amanda about all that because it's her moment and she's a fighter. She got an offer from a man who's coming in the game as a promoter, and she'd be a fool to not jump on it and after all the risks she's taken in her life, not get paid. But honestly, even sometimes I even look at him putting Serrano on with Taylor as like Nino Brown giving away turkeys. Like, it's politicians will have they'll bomb another country in the same week, take a photo op with kids at a school. Like, it's good PR. Still credit to him. He put those ladies on a stage and they did amazing, but it's like, they can only criticize me so much. What are you going to say when I put these women on as the co-main event and give them career high paydays and they deliver? You can't say I'm bad for boxing. But if all this influencer boxing led by Jake and Logan Paul, if it's, quote, drawing eyes to the sport, it's a good thing. It's drawing people to the sport that normally wouldn't watch it. Then why does their needle continue to ascend and the needle in real American boxing continue to decline to where almost everybody's got to go to Saudi Arabia to be paid? So I haven't seen this net positive impact on boxing in America. It's going the other direction. Anyways.
Yeah.
He spoke the truth. Go ahead.
And I'll jump in and say this because the number one thing that you touched on is why is the trajectory of boxing as a whole, the sport as a whole, going up the way that it is for Jake Paul, Logan Paul, the so on and so forth of the social media boxing that these guys have been doing. And the bottom line is this, and I've said this time and time again, it's not boxing, it's Jake Paul. people aren't tuning into boxing. People are tuning into Jake Paul. They didn't tune into boxing. They tuned into Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. They didn't even tune into Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. So you have to understand what it is. If I had it my way, I would make sure that Jake Paul was at all of the big fights. I would make sure that Jake Paul was ringside and he was helping promote the fights. That's what he does. He's a brilliant mind at that, and he has the audience that can do that. If he went to, just hypothetical, if he went to David Benavidez camp and did some posting at the David Benavidez camp, said, watch this fight against David Morrell. This is Juggernaut against Juggernaut. And he does the same thing when he goes to Morrell. That's how the trajectory of boxing goes up. It takes him getting behind boxing. Respect to him, he hasn't gotten behind boxing. He's gotten behind himself and is using boxing as the vehicle. Nothing wrong with that from my viewpoint, except people in this sport want to see this sport advance. This is not how it gets done unless they choose to advance the sport and instead of advancing just themselves. We ain't gonna fix that. It's neither here nor there. As a whole,
hey Sean, if I could just real quick, giving back to the sport is making other fighters stars, like what De La Hoya did. De La Hoya created Mosley. He helped take Trinidad to another level. Floyd Mayweather to another level. Manny Pacquiao. Squeezing whatever juice or credibility the sports have to enrich yourself is good for yourself. It's not good for the game. And Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson, two of the greatest fighters that ever lived, it's no coincidence that they fought the Paul brothers, because they at times were in on that business, squeezing the juice out of the game, not really making anybody else a star, but enriching themselves with it. And that's what Jake Paul's doing. What juice is left in Anderson Silva? Squeeze it out. What juice is left in Conor McGregor? What juice was left in Mike Tyson? Squeeze it out. It's good for your brand. You could argue it's bad for the actual brand of boxing.
You can't argue that. Go ahead, Antt.
No, I think it actually, this whole event didn't go as planned for the Paul brothers. He went to get that rub, as Sean said. And I think, I had everybody hitting me up just as you guys. Oh, man, what do you think about this? I said, it's an old man versus a young kid. That's all it is. That Mike Tyson, do you remember Mike Tyson getting his ass whooped? I told everybody that. All y'all think about is Mike Tyson before he went to prison, right when he got out. After that, he started getting his ass whooped. Like, nobody, I told, like, Shawn Porter retired at 35. Floyd Mayweather retired at 38. That's because they ain't got it no more. You think a 50, 60-year-old man still got it? So, but I think it was like, literally, I started getting calls as the fight started. Oh, man, why is he doing this to this old man? Oh, man, I hate this dude. It's like, it was the allure that Tyson was going to be Tyson, but Tyson really ain't got it anymore. He's an old man, legs. I remember sparring Sean for 2 rounds. It was the hardest shit in the world in the second round to come back out. And if that's 20 years older than I am now, it's going to even be harder. So it's just like Tyson didn't have it anymore, man. He tried. So I don't think the rub happened the way he thought it was, because it was more people feeling bad. I had people hated Coach Wade, the other dude that used to be with Floyd. They're like, what the fuck is Coach Wade doing? It got to a race thing where, how is he having a white man beat a black man like that? At the end of the day, it's all about getting paid. I mean, you got to feed his family. So I just don't think the rub went as planned. It more went to a sympathy thing for Mike Tyson, because that was everybody passed through.
Yeah, I'm gonna post this after I read it on here, and I'm gonna make sure that I put the caption so that it sends people to the PorterWay Podcast so we could talk about this. But this was what I put. I text this to some friends November 4th, 8:16 p.m. They asked what the fight was going to be like. I got a feeling the script is going to be to make Tyson look like the big bad wolf, like he used to be. A lot of swinging and missing from him. He slows down. Jake lands some clean shots, dances a little, and showboats. Everyone goes home paid. The part of that I think I got wrong, the big bad wolf part, was the stepping on the toe when he gets after the weigh-in, and then Mike slaps him. That's the big bad wolf. The first round, Mike comes out and like leads with a hook or something like that. He's got this spry energy when he gets going, and it looked like he was going to be that once upon a time Mike. He slowed down, a lot of swinging and missing, gun shy, as we would expect a 56-year-old man to be. The part that I got wrong, though, Jake Paul doesn't have much substance. For a social media guy, for a guy who's been on Disney Channel and does posts and all these other sorts of things, I was scratching my head like this. You couldn't come up with nothing to entertain us. There's nothing you could come up with. There was no grabbing Mike and shoving Mike back and making
fake ear bite, something.
Nothing. There was nothing. Y'all couldn't come up with nothing. So we got the big bad wolf, but after that, we just get an ordinary 56-year-old man in the ring with an amateur boxer who's boxing professionally. Don't mean to make it sound so disrespectful, but truth is truth. I'm glad that it's over because I had people asking me who you got tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, I laughed. I didn't respond to anybody. What you mean who you got tonight? It's gonna be what it's gonna be. The script is certainly not for Jake Paul to lose this. And if we know what we know about Mike Tyson, if he didn't have it at 40 years old, 45 years old, he sure as heck doesn't have it now. Love the man, respect the man. Go ahead and be that classic car. Show up at these events and continue to be that figure of greatness that you've been. And that's the one thing that I'm grateful for. I really don't think this fight put Mike like in the dirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it took anything off of him.
Mike has he held on to his integrity and who he is as a person through all this. Made him some money. Probably picked up a couple more fans. I'm sure he had more than Jake before this. He probably have a few more than Jake now. And I'm glad that it's over.
I mean, no, Mike's stock doesn't go down because the public has proven no matter what, they're going to love him. But he did sell his reputation and his record for a check. And I will be the bad guy and point that out. You know what I mean? And he hasn't been above doing this kind of thing for 27 years. Like I said before, and like Antt talk about their old hero, their old false idol wars. That's what the whole point of this really was to me. Is on the Tyson side, this false idol worship. There's no logic to support you thought at 58 he was going to be able to do what he did at 28 when he wasn't able to do that at 38. All it is if you think the man is more than a man, if you think he's some kind of god, and that's part of the mystique that they sold. But and then for the fight itself, Sean, I didn't feel like, Jake afterwards said he carried Tyson, and by letting everybody know you carried him, you just defeated the purpose of supposedly carrying him. If someone asks you that and the reason you carried him was out of respect, then you're supposed to go, hey, the fight was what it was. We were in there, give some generic answer and keep it pushing. But I'm not even convinced that he did carry Mike Tyson, because the only chance he could give Tyson was getting greedy, was trying to get him out of there, was giving up his height and playing it safe on the outside and trying to step into something. And I even in the 8th round, he thought about it, and there was the hook was there for Tyson, and Tyson missed it. But I think he probably did let his foot off the gas a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was just as much as, let me not give this 58-year-old Mike Tyson his only hope in this fight. And that's by giving up my height, giving up my range, and trying to get greedy. And so I believe that had just as much to do with it as doing the old man a favor, that you defeated the purpose of said favor by letting everybody know that's what you did. so yeah. But and then just go ahead, Antt. Go ahead, Antt.
No, I mean, Jake Paul's a shitty fighter. It is what it is. He's not a world-class fighter, not by any means, not close. He's D level at best. I mean,
he's good for what he does. And And I hate that people don't understand what he's doing and keep trying to bring it into, listen, 8 2-minute rounds with 14-ounce gloves. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
I did an interview and I said, Mike is the classic car that you don't drive. You can't really drive over 100 miles an hour anymore. That thing's supposed to stay in the garage and look beautiful. When you take it out, you're gonna do 35 down the street with it so everybody can see it, but you're not gonna try to push it to the limit because it can't do it no more. I said on the other end, I said, we'll call Jake a Lamborghini. In this fight, you depreciated your value by making it 2-minute rounds. You depreciated your value by making it 14-ounce gloves. Keep giving the world that the people that watch you, keep giving them what they want. But don't call out Canelo, because Canelo ain't coming over here with the BS. Probably won't get a fight with Canelo because he's not for the BS. So again, what people don't understand, you're gonna keep saying Canelo's name and some other fighters' names, and people are just gonna keep clicking to see everything that's being said, and that's how he's making his money. Y'all ain't smart enough to realize that he can't contend with the Canelo Alvarez, so he's not even gonna try to. I guarantee y'all this: if he really tried to make a fight with Canelo, he gonna outprice himself. Once he outprice himself and Canelo say let's do it, he gonna start trying to make all these other negotiations and things like that, and the fight will never be made. That is that's a actual he don't need that, and the boxing world don't need that. And let's just keep it separate. And people need to just understand.
Go ahead, Zittel.
Well, just to jump off what Sean's saying there about Canelo, what do you guys think about Andre Ward entertaining the fight? Do you think Jake would?
Did Dre say something about fighting?
Damian Lillard after the fight tweeted he wanted to see Jake Paul versus Andre Ward, and Andre tweeted out, "Let's talk about it."
Oh, man. Okay, Dre, you for it then, huh? All right, Dre. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I won't say what I know, but I'm not surprised. Dre is a smart businessman.
I mean, I could see him pulling Shawn Porter out of retirement in 2025.
No, it's not. That's not gonna happen. I already answered that. Like, I know I've been getting funky on here lately, and I got funky on here a little bit today. I retired Amanda right in front of her, and talked about blows and all that kind of stuff. This ain't what I do no more. I like being here. And I'm not bold because I'm not getting in the ring anymore. I'm bold because I'm trying to do the best I can to change the state of boxing. And I feel like I do have that voice that a lot of people respect and trust. And with that being said, if I continue to not speak the whole truth, then people are going to go find that truth somewhere else, and they won't be getting it from me. Then I'm depreciating my value, So I'm not getting in the ring with Jake Paul. There's nothing he could do about it. You can't get me in the ring with Jake Paul. My purpose is much bigger than boxing now in the ring. And I'll leave it at that.
Shawn Porter signs Zittel. Who is the next guy he gets in the ring? It's going to be somebody fall for the fish.
It ain't going to be Andre Ward.
Yeah. I don't think.
I'm like, he's too smart for. Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
They don't play.
That's okay. So, I mean, people was like, well, you seen the Tank post. Tank is 5'4". I don't really want to see that. That's little is little, man.
I'm sorry, Tank could get him too.
5'4"? I don't think nobody 5'4" can beat me up.
You will be surprised, bro. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
All right.
We spar so much heavier than we fight. And I know sparring is different from a fight. But listen, there's things that Tank would have against this guy that you just can't defeat. Even though he's got that size disadvantage, Tank knows how to close the distance. When you got somebody closing the distance on you and you ain't got nobody in the camp that's been doing that to you, you in no man's land. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to put Tank up in there like going to do that, but yeah. Most guys at the top of this sport in any weight class could get it done. And I'll leave it at that. Let's just keep it separate, y'all. Just keep it separate.